May is your garden's make or break month. Miss this window and summer heat is going to limit what you're able to harvest. I've tested this for years, and today I'm walking you through exactly what to plant right now, what to skip, and the decision in May that determines whether you're going to be eating from your garden well into fall or wishing you had planned ahead. I'm in zone 7B to 8A here in upstate South Carolina. I'll tell you how this applies to your zone as we go. So here's what to plant in May. I'm going to go through these one at a time so you have a clear list to work from. May is the right time to get tomatoes in the ground, but the timing matters more than most people realize. Tomatoes don't like cold nights. Below 50 degrees, they're not growing, they're just stressed, and a stressed plant doesn't get established the way you want it to, and then it affects how much you harvest later on. My personal rule is May 1st, but watch your own weather. When your nights are consistently above 50, or even better, 55 degrees, that's pretty much your green light. If you're in a colder climate, this might be June. I grow Skyway slicing tomatoes because that variety keeps setting fruit even when temperatures climb over 90 degrees, which matters if you have a long, hot summer like we do here. I'll link my free 28 varieties guide in the description so you can have extra help deciding exactly what varieties to grow. Now, if life happens and you do miss planting your tomatoes in May, don't panic. I've planted as late as June and still gotten a harvest, but of course earlier is better. It's not all or nothing though. Just know your area's first fall frost date and then count backwards to make sure you've got 70 to 90 days remaining to give your tomato plants long enough to grow and then give you tomatoes. Peppers love heat even more than tomatoes do, and May is a great time to get transplants in the ground, again, as long as your nights are consistently above 55. A transplant is just a young plant that you're moving from a pot into your garden, whether you started your own indoors from seed or you're buying plants from the store. This year I'm growing my favorite California Wonder peppers for dicing and freezing, and lunchbox peppers for fresh eating. I'm skipping jalapenos this year, sadly, because I love them, but my kids don't. And when space is limited, that's the deciding factor. If you're in containers, peppers are one of the best choices you can make because one healthy plant is going to produce all summer long. Cucumbers are fast. They are faster than most people expect. Direct sowing means planting the seeds straight into your garden, no starting indoors first. And you can do that now as long as your soil is consistently above 70 degrees. Do that and you can have cucumbers in 50 to 60 days, and that puts you in July. I grow the tasty green variety, and I just tuck them in at the ends of my raised beds and let them grow up a trellis. Vertical cucumbers take up almost no ground space, and for small gardens, that matters a lot. Next, both squash and melons go in the ground the same way, so I'm covering them together. Direct sow them now if your soil is warm, because they love warm soil. At least 70 degrees, just the same as the cucumbers. They're going to come up fast. For summer squash like zucchini, 1 or 2 plants is going to be plenty, especially if you're growing in a small space. You'll have more than you know what to do with from just one plant. For winter squash, I'm growing honey patch butternut this year, and that's a compact variety that I'm going to be training up a trellis. That's the key for small spaces. Grow it vertical and you free up ground for everything else. Same goes for melons. Direct sow and let them climb. And if you picked compact varieties, the plants grow smaller fruit, which makes it easier to grow them vertically. Next up is the easiest thing to grow, in my opinion, and that is beans. You can direct sow beans right into warm soil, and beans like around 70 degrees too. This one is really straightforward. Bush beans are fast. They're going to be ready in about 50 days, but they give you one big harvest and they're done. Pole beans take a little bit longer, but they're going to produce all season. The more you pick, the more they grow. My personal favorite are rattlesnake beans. I save them every year to grow for the following year. At the end of the season, you can let your last pole beans dry on the vine and then save them for winter soups or for seeds next year. So the difference between the two different kinds of beans is that bush beans don't climb up a trellis, but pole beans do. And for small spaces, pole beans are my pick. They grow vertically up a trellis to save space, they produce more, and they give you more value out of the same footprint for a much longer time. If you have a trellis or a fence or even tall tomato cages, I would definitely go for it. Next is one of the most quintessential summer foods, and that's sweet corn. And yes, you can grow sweet corn in a small garden. I've grown mine in raised beds for years. Direct sow now as long as your soil is above 60 degrees. One thing most beginners don't know is that corn doesn't pollinate well if you plant it in a single row. Pollination is how the plant makes corn, and in corn's case, the pollen falls from the top down onto the plants below it, to put it simply. So if you plant it in a block, like a square or a short rectangle, then pollination can actually happen. A block of at least 4 short rows is going to give you the best chance at full ears of corn. So if you do have room for a block, growing sweet corn at home is well worth it, because there's nothing like fresh corn from your own garden in the summertime. If you're growing tomatoes, you've got to grow basil. They go so well together in the garden and in the kitchen as well. Basil loves heat, but it does not like cold. So May is going to be the prime time to get it outside, as long as your last frost date has passed. In colder climates, that can be as late as June, so definitely check your date before planting it outside. And if you have been growing it indoors and it looks pale or stretched out or pretty much really sad, it's going to transform so fast and take off once it's in the sun and the beautiful warm weather. I'm growing regular basil, and I'm also growing lemon basil, which I absolutely love. Let's talk about sweet potatoes right now, because they're such a high value, nutrient dense food to grow at home. You can get the slips in the ground right now if you're in zone 7 and up. And slips they're just the small rooted sprouts that come from a sprouted sweet potato, and that's what you plant instead of seeds. Sweet potatoes need 90 to about 120 days to mature, so getting them in now is going to give them the full season they need. I love sweet potatoes for small spaces, and the vines are honestly really pretty. I've grown them in raised beds before, and they do spread. So I've tried trimming the vines back because I had grass around the raised beds and I had to mow around. But it seemed like the plants put more energy into the sweet potatoes as a result, which was good. I can't say for certain that trimming is why they did that, but that was my experience. So drop a comment if you've tried this, because I'd love to know what you found out. Wherever you have a gap in your garden, tuck in a few flowers. Zinnias, for example, are really easy to grow. They handle the heat, and they bring in the pollinators that help everything else in your garden produce better. I grow cut and come again zinnias because they're so nice in vases, and then there's some for me and for the pollinators in my garden. Before we move on, there's one more piece of this that most people overlook in May, and it matters just as much as what you plant. May feels like the start of summer in a lot of places, but the real heat usually hits in June and July, so that means May is your window. Things you get in the ground now will be established before the heat arrives, but before you add anything new, take a walk through what you already have. Are your plants watered? Are they mulched well and ready for the warmer weather to happen? Take care of what's already growing first, because you don't want to miss getting your last cool season harvests. I just harvested the best salad yesterday, and the lettuce was perfectly crunchy, and the radishes were absolutely perfect and refreshing and not too spicy. That's an example of eating seasonally. Next up, we're going to talk about what's just as important as what to plant, and that's what not to plant. This section is mainly for zone 6 and up, because if you're in a northern zone, cool season crops are still very much in play. But if you're in zone 7 to 8 like me, now is not going to be the time to plant new cool season crops like spinach, broccoli, cabbage, or kale, because the heat's going to get them before they can produce. You can think about these for fall though, because that's genuinely when they're going to shine, just like springtime. Lettuce is the one exception. Slow bolt varieties can carry you through summer. Bolting is when the plant sends up a flower stalk and the leaves get bitter and not very good to eat anymore. But slow bolt varieties just resist that longer. Like Freckles is one that I've grown for years, and it holds up really well in the summer. So you plant a fresh round every couple of weeks and then harvest those baby leaves, because if you just let it sit in the garden and grow, you're basically just waiting for the heat to get it after it bolts, and then it's kind of a waste of space. But growing lettuce in the summertime is doable. It just needs to be grown with a plan. And this next part is the piece most gardeners don't think about in May, but it's what determines whether you'll still be harvesting later this year. Fall is one of the best seasons to grow food, especially here in the South. The temperatures are more comfortable, there are fewer bugs to deal with, and fall crops like broccoli, kale, carrots, beets, and lettuce all taste sweeter in cooler weather. But here's what most people don't realize. To have a fall garden, you have to think about it right now. In zones 7 to 8, you start seeds for fall crops in late July and August, and that sounds far away, but it really isn't. Right now in May, pull out a piece of paper and write down what you want to eat from your garden in October and November, and that list is your fall plan. When late July comes, you know exactly what to start instead of scrambling to figure it out. I'll do a full fall planting video when that window approaches, but start that list today. If you're trying to figure out which varieties are actually worth growing in your space, I put together a free guide called the 28 Proven Varieties for Your Garden Plan. It covers the crops I trust most for small gardens, and they're the ones that earn their space and actually produce. I'll put the link in the description. It's a good starting point if you're still figuring out what to grow. And if you're working with limited space, these next few tips will make everything we just talked about actually work. Tip number 1 is if you're growing beans, and I included this because so many of us do grow beans at home, stagger your bush bean plantings. Don't plant all your seeds at once. You can plant some now and then another round in a couple of weeks because they're so easy to grow and germinate really fast. Bush beans give you one big harvest and they're done, like we talked about earlier, so planting in batches is going to keep your harvest steady instead of hitting at once and then just dying out. Pole beans don't need this. They keep producing as long as you keep picking, so keep harvesting them. Tip number 2 is grow vertical. Cucumbers, pole beans, compact squash, and melons, all of these can grow up instead of out, and it's the single most useful thing you can do for a small garden. Tip number 3 is plant herbs near your door. When they're steps away, you're actually going to use them a lot more. I keep my Vigo garden self-watering planters packed with perennial herbs that come back every spring, and also annuals like lemon basil and German chamomile. They thrive all summer in those planters. I'll link them below because they're so helpful in the heat of the summer. Tip number 4 is don't overcrowd. The garden centers are full of beautiful, irresistible things in May, and it's so tempting and so hard to resist just picking up everything and taking it home and stuffing it in the garden. But crowded plants compete for water and nutrients. Airflow gets cut off and then disease spreads faster. So you really are going to get more harvest out of less plants. I use the square foot gardening method to help me control this, and I divide each bed into 1 foot sections with twine, and I just hook the twines to the edges of the bed. It's really easy. And then I follow the spacing on the seed packets and the plant labels. It's really simple, and I promise it works. Before you head out to the garden, here's your May plan one more time. Tomatoes and peppers go in when your nights are consistently above 50 degrees, or better yet, 55. Cucumbers, squash, melons, beans, corn, basil, and sweet potato slips go in when your soil is consistently above 70 degrees. Tuck flowers in wherever you have gaps. Skip new cool season crops for now if you're in zone 7 and up, with the exception of slow bolt lettuce. And most importantly, don't let May slip by without thinking ahead. What you plant and plan right now determines how much food you're still going to be harvesting later this year. Write down what you want to eat this fall, and when July comes, you'll be ready. If this video helped you feel more confident about what to plant in May, please hit the like button because it helps more people grow their own food, and that really matters. If you have questions about your zone or what to plant where you live, leave them in the comments. And if you're planning ahead for berries too, watch my video on growing strawberries in small spaces next because it pairs perfectly with everything we covered today.